So we're gonna follow this trail up some switchbacks to Monarch Lakes, and then up early through Sawtooth Pass, and then some cross-country trail. And then it's up all the way to Black Kaweah, which is 13,765. And according to one guidebook, since its first ascent, it seemed less than 100, only 100 people or 100 parties had been up on top of it. So I'm sure there's a few more since then, but it's definitely a rare one. So we got some miles to cover cross country, but it should be gorgeous because it's absolutely beautiful here.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, wait, there's so much snow.
Over the past few years, a number of the historic registers on Sierra peaks have gone missing, and there's a bunch of different theories on what's happening to them. Maybe they're vandals or people that don't believe in having any kind of human trace in the wilderness. Some who are just out for their own collectibles. Others that take them down because they do have historic value, and then they give them to the Bancroft Library, where the Sierra Club's mountain records archives are kept. And some might be affiliated with either the National Forest or the Park Service. I've heard different stories in the past of rangers pulling them down. That's not necessarily the policy for Sequoia Kings or Yosemite. They kind of have this idea of live and let live.
You're right, that is black.
What I'm trying to do is check out all the different names in the Summit Register. This is one of the that I know of one of the remaining original registers on a Sierra peak, and this goes back to the early, well, I want to say early 1920s, and legendary names like Norman Clyde and Jules Eichhorn, and then kind of the one that I'm most excited about, and that is Walter Starr, who soloed the peak when, I think in 1929, signed his name, and didn't have a writing instrument, so he made himself bleed and scrawled his name in his own blood. So I started off this summer climbing on July 2nd Mount Brewer, which was the first known peak, or the first known peak to have a register. It was put up in 1864, and so I climbed it on July 2nd, which is the anniversary of the first ascent, and the party went back 2 days later and put a register on. So I climbed Mount Brewer, and then I went after Mount Dana and Mount Lyell, and then finally wanted to wrap it up on Black Kaweah, which is a legendary peak, almost a mythical peak in the Sierra. It still has one of the original registers up there with some legendary names in there, and I wanted to take a peek at it. So we just crossed over the Hands and Knees Pass. So sun's right above us. It's about 12:30. We've got a little distance to go, but we should be able to knock it out, feet permitting, of course. So hearing other people had been up there, there were a number of parties that we passed that had gone up and summited. Was very eager to hear if the names in the register were still up there, and it was. So that gives me some hope. The next time I'm back, and I'll definitely be back, I'll hopefully sign my name, not next to Walter Starr, but at least in the same book.
In November 2007, one of the oldest known Sierra Peak registers was removed from Mount Woodworth due to concerns for its safety. The register will now reside safely, albeit at lower elevation, in the Sierra Club archives.